So I've been playing the new Battle Guys 0.45 closed alpha test for a while now, and it's the breath of fresh air that the game needed after all this time. I can see where the excitement is coming from since we've had the same 3 symmetric maps for several months now, and we've been craving something new for a while. Though if you've been subscribed to my channel for quite a while, you know that I built my community for this channel off of the lesser populated but very loud competitive community of Battle Guys. When Kitka Games released the second version of the game about 4 months ago, there was a lot of worry and skepticism regarding how clan wars, Royale competitions, and 1v1s would work under the new rules that were enforced on everyone. Some people like this version too, and there's nothing wrong with that, I'm not against it, but a lot of people in the competitive community didn't like it. In fact, as time went on, many people got upset to the point where we had to change the rules to make clan wars less frustrating in this game, such as needing to kill all the bots and other real players in the lobby, as well as no longer accepting 2v2s and 4v4s, as in the former, you can get spawn killed easily while you're floating in the air after reviving, and in the latter, there are too few zap boxes for you to break to gain XP, which gave you a random assortment of power-ups that you had little control over. This meant that only 3v3 was accepted, as 5v5 is impossible if you want a caster or referee in your lobby. Even then, players were calling the game boring, and also several clans kept on closing down. More big names started to become inactive as they switched to other games, and it just felt impossible to try to keep ourselves entertained. So that's when this third major game-changing update comes in. At first glance, it seems to mix up the first two versions by reintroducing a map that has a variety of structures and continuing to use the zap boxes as the primary method of obtaining weapons and power-ups. For this video, I'll be looking into one big question. Given that the first version was unsuccessful and that new players quit after just a single game, and that the second version was slightly more successful but still kind of repetitive to play, how will Kitka Games' third take on the game affect the small but active competitive atmosphere? Will it get the big names to come out of retirement and finally enjoy the game again? Let's find out. When you start up the game, you spawn in a random location with 10 players, much like the previous version. However, even if you are playing in duo mode, your duo can still spawn on the opposite side of the map, whereas other times your duo can spawn next to you. This can make the first few minutes of duo mode feel counterintuitive, but it does fix itself later on in the match. Upon hitting the ground, your goal is to hit as many zap boxes as possible to farm coins, power-ups, food items, and on rare occasions, rainbow bolts. At the time of recording this, the coins do absolutely nothing, but I'm pretty sure it's just an alpha testing and that they'll have functionality once this update is live. The food will reward you with additional health points. Sushi gives you 10, pizza gives you 20, and hamburger gives you 40. You can pick up as many food items as you want, so I recommend doing so to maximize your health during the battle. The power-up system, however, works differently. Instead of farming tons of blue XP from the ground to level up and choose a random assortment of 3 power-ups each time, the zap boxes actually contain the power-ups inside of them, and you can have as many power-ups as you want. You can even stack your power-ups simply by collecting multiple of the same one when you see them. This makes looting and exploring the map feel much more useful, whereas in the previous two versions, once you found your favorite gun and either a super coin or reached level 6, you were basically set. That said, however, there's still a factor of randomness with the power-ups in every way, because the rainbow bolt will give you a random assortment of 3 power-ups to choose from so you can become stronger. The passive power-ups can be picked up and kept forever, whereas active power-ups that have their own slot now have limited uses and can be swapped out for other active power-ups if you so please. This makes the game feel more fair, as now you can't get screwed over by a bubble shield that breaks randomly at the wrong time. As for the guns, it seems like upgrades are back because now you may run into a gun with a color tint to it. They're the same guns from the previous version and the aim assist is still present, so it doesn't take too much getting used to this time around. At this time of recording, I only found 2 colors, purple and gold. There's no way to upgrade a gun if you don't have a color tint on it yet, but maybe that's what the coins can be used for? No way to confirm, but it would be a nice idea. Just like with the last version, killing a player will drop some of their power-ups for you to collect, therefore making it rewarding to go for bots if they tend to interrupt your match. But killing these bots is no easy task now, and I'll bet you can see why. The guns, at base level, have been massively nerfed to the point where it will take a shotgun, multiple reloads, and several consecutive hits to kill a bot. Now, that's what the power-ups are for, to speed up these fights, but when it comes to the competitive community, we want to make sure that we kill the bots, and especially real players, as quickly as possible, so that they don't ruin the integrity of a clan war. Since there's still no system in the game where we can limit the number of players in the room, this could cause issues where it takes too long to kill these non-participants, and by the time you kill them all, the storm circle is already too closed in, so you lose your chances of looting and exploring the map. Now, I know what you're thinking. Flavy, come on, you only have to kill these guys once, right? And usually, they're really easy if your entire clan just focuses and aims on them so that they die faster, right? So what's the problem? Well, when you die, I already mentioned that you drop some of your power-ups and gun, as well as the entire stack of your active power-up, but what I didn't mention is that you will be revived automatically a few seconds later, even if you're playing on solo mode. You get one revive in solo mode, and when you use it, you will hang glide back down to the stage and be immune to attacks, thanks to this bubble that was added as a convenience thing. While this may sound like a good thing on paper due to the removal of spawn killing and the lesser punishment for mistakes during the clan war, this could potentially create confusion and frustration among both the casual and competitive community. With the casuals, they may believe they have killed someone when they only went through their first life, and seeing as there's no way to tell how many revives someone has until after the blue spark appears, it does feel confusing when you see them spawn back in and suddenly become OP. As for the competitive, remember how I said that killing the bots takes longer due to the less powerful guns? Now, you're forced to kill the bots twice before they are completely dead and don't respawn. This makes it much harder to clear the lobby before beginning the fight, and it's really easy to burn through your active power-ups and accidentally injure your teammates. The only foolproof fix for this issue is to revert back to C equals kill, a playstyle that was popular in the first version of the game. However, that reintroduces the problems that caused it to be unviable in the second version, such as the possibility of being killed by real players that aren't participating but deliberately targeting a specific team, or being shot from behind by a bot with a good gun and power combination. Both of these made losing points to other clans feel like the game's fault instead of a lack of skill on your own part. In addition, the spawn system from both the second and third versions make it so that the team that gets luckier and spawns with better loot from the start can smite the other team in a few minutes if they're still trying to look for their favorite weapons. Therefore, I don't see this playstyle returning even if it ignores the issue of killing the outsiders to ensure that they don't interrupt the match. In addition, I don't see super versus, where you have 3 teams competing against each other instead of 2, as the solution, because that would reintroduce the problem with 4v4s in the previous version, the low amount of loot and the constant third partying. Sure, maybe some clans will continue to do the usual fight at the end rule, but I feel like it will be a lot clunkier due to the excess amount of time spent killing bots or real players, and burning through your active power-ups whilst doing so. If both clans can succeed at killing these non-participants and have a decent chunk of the map left to fight, then maybe it could still be viable, but we'll have to see when the actual version is released to the public. For now, I feel like Clan Wars will be even less playable on this version because not only is there still a lot of luck when it comes to looting, but now there is a lot more time wasted trying to make them balanced and fair by reducing disruptions. But what about other styles of competition such as Royale or 1v1? If you're not familiar with what Royale is, it's basically several teams going up against each other at once with the goal of being the last ones alive. This is when I feel that the new automatic revive system can help in a way, since now teams can survive longer and fights can get more chaotic as the zone closes further. Additionally, you're given much more time to react to any danger thanks to the guns at the start being nerfed significantly, and the new map offers much more flexibility when it comes to finding places to camp behind and shoot from. Despite the potential for added chaos thanks to the new active power-up system, there's still some major problems with Royale, the low player count remaining the big one. With only 10 players and the lack of a spectator mode, clan or selection Royale competitions, if they happen, will require us to split multiple teams into groups of 4 max, so that we have room for 2 referees or trusted spectators to broadcast the game, unless a broadcaster happens to be playing for another team. Then, depending on the result, the top teams advance to the grand final to determine Royale champions. Even with the potential excitement about groups, there is still the tight schedule to players. If you've been familiar with the cups that the community has made over the past couple of months, you'll know that if they require everyone to be up at the same time, they will opt for Saturday as the day because on the weekday, many people have school or work, and on Sunday, many people use it as a day at rest. Therefore, if you want to cater to that need, a single Royale Cup could take upwards of 3 weeks to fully complete. This was typical in the first version of the game, where we would use 3 rounds of 6 matches each every Saturday to pad out the competition and give everyone a fair chance at a comeback. But if Royale sticks to the traditional 6 games per day format, it leaves less of room for comebacks if a team happens to start at a poor rhythm during the competition. Now what about 1v1? No matter the game, you will always find people wanting to complete these against other players that they are often friends with. Even though 1v1 looks more than possible on the third version, the revive mechanic may actually cause it to feel confusing, since when you kill someone, you don't know if it's their first or second life until you see the blue spark. So therefore, you could run into the situation where you forgot that player 2 died to a bot earlier, and player 1 still has his revive. Player 2 kills player 1, but then he revives and kills him back, and then wins the game, because he didn't have the revive left. The double life mechanic, again, goes to hurting their integrity, because if you happen to get unlucky and find a real player interrupting, you have to kill them twice before they can leave you alone, and even while doing so, you're burning through power-ups that you need, as well as missing out on the opportunity to increase your health bar with food items by looting around the map. Ultimately, it comes down to luck for all 3 modes of competition. The first version had a bit of luck when it came to coin and gun placement, but at least you could tell what kind of gun or coin you would get from a distance. It didn't force the player to get close to a box and shoot it to reveal mysterious power-ups that may or may not benefit them in the first place. So therefore, this luck-based mechanic may cause many players to get upset when they lose because they didn't have a gold version of their favorite gun, or they got the wrong power-up at the wrong time. So, what's the verdict? Well, I'll start by giving credit where it's due. Firstly, the new looting system that eliminates leveling and rewards exploration makes the new map more worth it to interact with. The new map is much more satisfying to go around thanks to the references to the first version, and the longer fights can leave plenty of room for comebacks or unpredictable outcomes in clan wars. Unfortunately, all of this is overshadowed by the two major problems that I've presented throughout: the luck-based looting and the automatic revive mechanic. Even though the looting kind of gives you a chance to back out now thanks to the ability to pick up different active power-ups at a time, your passive power-ups that stick with you forever can't be exchanged, you just pick them up. In addition, the gun you get might be your favorite, but if it's not gold and you don't already have the essentials like critical hits or poison bullets, I can guarantee you that there's no way you're killing a player without reloading at least 4 or 5 times. Sure, this is a pre-release version, and we could probably expect a more proper gun upgrade system in the future, but assuming it stays like this, it may hinder the appeal of trying to do clan wars in this game. The revive mechanic also leaves a lot more room for bots and unwanted guests to disrupt clan war matches, since now you can't kill them as fast, but also they start back up with full health each time due to the shield that is present on them when they glide down. With the guns at base level nerfed to the point of being almost useless, it's basically a guarantee that by the time you're done dealing with the disruptions, the zone has already shrunk too much to the point where it removes the fun of fighting all across the map. While this new mechanic can increase the potential for comebacks and give Royale players more wiggle room, it significantly affects the hassle of killing unwanted players due to the lack of a party system where we can limit the number of players in a match. It also can cause confusion because in any other Battle Royale game, once you killed someone in solo, they were dead forever. I understand this game is supposed to be catered around the casual player, and I'm not against casual play, but since I work with the community on a lot of cups and tournaments to test skill with the control scheme, these changes to the looting and reviving in solo actually lower the experience and satisfaction of playing clan wars in general. Most of my viewers enjoyed playing Battle Guys this way, but I have to say that this new version looks like it's even less sustainable for competitive play than the previous one. So, no, I don't think the big names will come out of retirement, and I don't think the players will keep interest after a couple of games due to the repetitive nature of killing unwanted guests and the luck that comes with looting and power-ups. That's not to say the update is unfair or unplayable by any means. It definitely has room for competitive play with the new power-ups and new map being more varied and not symmetrical. The reason I didn't go over the new power-ups in this video was because I felt that the major issues with the version render discussion about them worthless, as it won't matter what kinds of power-ups you have to find a way to make the clan war fair for both teams involved, and doing so is even more difficult due to the issues with reviving and looting. Soon enough, the players might just start playing casually or switching to other games due to these persistent issues that can cause clan wars and 1v1s to be unsustainable and out of the question for the time being. The game is still a Battle Royale and an accessible one at that, but it seems like Kitka Games really wants us to play the game how they intended it, much like a certain other game company. And also, that we can expect the competitive scene to fizzle out because of the main goal of increasing the default mode's replayability. When playing normally, the map feels really nice to explore around, and again, I'm not attacking anyone that likes to play normally. You can enjoy what you enjoy. My point is that since a lot of my community didn't like the second version, the third version seems to have the potential to make it even worse for them, to the point where there's little options for a feasible competitive or esport of the game, until Kitka finally solved the puzzle of making the game as replayable as possible in the default game mode. Will this third iteration help them hit their goal? Only time will tell. Anyways, that's the end of this discussion video. What are your thoughts on this third take of Battle Guys? Do you think the competitive scene still has a chance to shine in this version? How would you fix the core problems I laid out? Leave a comment on this video and I will read as many of them as I can. Also, don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe, join my Discord server if you want future updates or videos, or to reach out to me directly, and I'll see you all in the next one.